Kelley Wilson.
How you doing?
It was not a great day for me, and you've had some difficulty of your own lately.
Yeah, a little bit.
You look like the man that killed Dr. Kimball's wife, circa, 1992, whenever The Fugitive came out.
Yeah.
Saying he looks like a one-armed man, ladies and gentlemen. Kelley.
Yeah.
What the hell happened to you?
I broke my arm. It sucks. 37 years, never broke a bone.
Unbelievable. Played sports.
I did so many stupid things growing up, like jumping bikes over ramps and all kinds of stupid things. Falling off trampolines, but... So, last podcast, I guess, we did last Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And that night / Friday, early Friday morning, like right around midnight or so, I get up in the middle of the night to go to the restroom. My light's off in my room, and I step on a sock.
A sock.
And I mean, we have like hardwood floors or whatever, so it's like not carpet. And I got it at just the perfect angle where my leg totally went out from under me, and I started falling, and I kind of twisted to land on my side instead of my face, and just hit the upper arm in just the right way that like a piece of bone broke, and it's now kind of like just hanging out, like floating in my arm,
free floating,
and really sucks. I mean, like I said, I've never had a broken bone. I never knew how much it sucked. It sucks pretty good.
How's the pain? Like right now?
Right now, a 1.
That's good.
But I mean, I'm on like heavy opiates right now too, so. Mm-hmm. And I timed my last pill so it would be the least painful while you were over here and we were talking.
Huh.
So, I mean, it really, it's, if I was to move it right now or like jostle it, then it would spike real fast, mm-hmm. even on the pills. But how I have it resting right now, it's fine. I mean, to be fair, so far with it, the pain really isn't the worst part. I mean, because I got the prescription and I have the pills and whatnot. I mean, the worst part so far has been the part of it being the sling around my neck, holding my arm up. Like, my neck really...
Digging into you?
Really hurts.
Yeah.
Like, because that's a lot of weight for it to support, like, constantly. And then sleeping has been absolutely horrible for me. I mean, mm-hmm. So it happened like midnight or so Friday morning, and I couldn't get back to sleep that night at all. I tried, but I couldn't. Didn't really know what was wrong with me. Friday morning, I decided something's like wrong enough. I need to go get medical help for it.
Yeah.
So I call my brother, and I'm like, hey, come take me to an urgent care. Because at that point, I'd never had a broken bone. I don't know what it feels like. And I feel like most of the injuries I've had in my life, like my brain kind of initially rushes to like worst case scenario. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, we're going to pump the brakes a little. We're not going to like go straight to an ER or anything. We're going to go to an urgent care place. Because maybe it's just sprain. They'll give me a prescription, put it in a sling, be good to go, and whatever. So my brother comes and takes me, and that was probably the most painful car ride I've ever had in my entire life. Mm-hmm. Like, really, like, just accelerating the car, and not excessive accelerating, just normal acceleration, that hurt so bad, not talking about bumps or stopping or anything else. We get to the urgent care, go in, do my thing, they take an x-ray, I wait a little bit, and they come back with a picture of the x-ray, and they're like, yeah, you broke your arm. Mm-hmm. There's really nothing we can do for you. You need to go immediately to an actual ER. So pay us our money, and we didn't do anything except tell you to go to an ER. Mm-hmm. So cool. Do that, and then I go, brother comes, gets me again, takes me to the ER. Go to the ER, and I mean, I guess the one upside for the urgent care was like they'd already done an x-ray and had some like paperwork stuff drawn up, and I think They said they were going to send it over to the hospital so they'd have the stuff, but they also gave it to, like, physical copies, and they also gave me a CD of
Your X-rays.
Of the X-rays,
Yeah.
so I could give it to them. So I get to the hospital, I'm like, hey, broke my arm, came from urgent care, here's this stuff, I need help. So they're like, okay, take a seat, and give them all my stuff. And about half an hour, maybe a little more later, they finally called me back into, like, the triage area.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, all right, well, we looked at your X-rays and we sent your X-rays to one of our orthopedic surgeons or whatever. And looks like you're going to need surgery.
Yeah.
They said if I was like a 75-year-old person, then they wouldn't really recommend surgery because, like, it would heal on its own, but I wouldn't have hardly any motion in my arm, and since I'm youngish, like, I need emotion, so yeah.
Doesn't that feel good?
Yeah.
One of the comedians talks about a point where you go over the threshold and they're like, got tumors in your head.
Yeah, pretty much. But they're like, yeah, but the doctor, he wants us to do a CT scan of it so we can get a better picture and see exactly how he wants to approach the surgery. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, and they're like, all right, go chill out in the waiting room again until they're ready to take you for the CT scan. And I'm like, okay, cool. And they're like, have you had anything for the pain yet? And by this point, it was like 2 p.m, so a good 14 hours.
15 hours, yeah.
And I was like, no, nobody's given me anything. I haven't taken anything. I could really use something. Mm-hmm. And they're like, all right, well, I'll go sit out in the waiting room. I'll bring you some pain pills.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool. So I go sit back down. It's about 2 o'clock. About 3 o'clock rolls around, and it's funny because right after 2-ish, I'm sorry, my mind's a little frazzled.
Take your time.
A little after 2-ish, the guy that was, like, triaging me, like the guy nurse or whatever he was, and he was the one who told me he was going to get me the medication. Like, I'm close enough to, like, the window in their area, like, I can kind of hear him talking and stuff, and I heard someone tell him to go on break, so he goes on break.
No.
And then around 3, I see him coming back in, and then once I see him come back in, I'm like, okay, they forgot about me, I'm going to, like... So I got up and started walking to the window, and he sees me walking to him, and he, like, hops up, and he's like, I'm going to get those pills for you right now, before I said a thing. And I was like, okay, thanks. So I go sit back down. He gets up, walks away, like, literally, maybe, not even 2, like, 1 minute later, the person to take me to the CT scan comes. And at this point, like, I'm hurting, like, 15 hours with a broken bone and no pain meds, like, nothing, and no sleep, like, I was in a bad way, and I was like, I just started laughing. I was like, hey, the guy just said he was, like, on his way to, like, bring me some pain pills. I haven't had anything. Can you wait just a second? They're like, oh, no problem. Just wait here. We'll send someone else to get you afterwards. And I'm like, well, now how long is this going to take? So she leaves. 30 seconds later, he pops out with my pills. I take them. And then I have to wait another about 15 minutes before someone else comes to get me to go to the CT scan.
That's better than another 30 or 60.
I mean, it was still just ridiculous. And they take me back there. We get that done, which is all just super painful and just whatever. Get it done, come back out, and they're like, wait here for your discharge stuff. And then 20 minutes later, someone comes out with some papers, be like, okay, we sent in prescriptions for you. And here's the office of the surgeon who you're going to be working with. Give them a call, set up an appointment ASAP to go over stuff. I was like, cool, got it. So I leave, I walk outside, and then I call my brother to come get me because I didn't make him wait with me. There's no reason for that. And while I'm waiting, like, right after I get outside, the surgeon's office calls me to schedule the appointments. That was kind of cool. So set that for this past Monday. So 2 more days. But they gave me prescription.
We high-five Friday night.
No, we didn't hang out Friday.
We watched Mission Impossible. Or was it Saturday?
I think that was Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Saturday.
Okay.
Because Ash was pretty intent on me just taking it easy. And which is true, because Friday, after all that, I got home and everything. I had a little bit of dinner. Well, I was barely hungry like the whole day.
Yeah.
And then I went to go to bed, and luckily my brother, he gets a lot of pillows that he doesn't like, and then he gives them to me. So I have like 8 or 10 pillows in my room. So I created like this like kind of mountain, so I could just kind of like sit in my bed like sitting up, but kind of lying down. And I did that, and I passed out, and it was like I slept great that night. But ever since that night, it wasn't working. Whatever I had going on, plus my bed sucks, and I need a new bed so bad, and a mattress, like, it's kind of broken, and I was like falling through the bed a little bit, and it was just a whole ordeal. I finally got it kind of working, but between Saturday night, Sunday night, and Monday night, total, I probably got about 9 hours of sleep. So, like, that was really killing me. Like, I was just lying in my bed with my eyes closed, just not sleeping. It was just a horrible thing. But luckily, yesterday, I finally had the idea I should have had right out from the get-go, but it's just whatever. I had to rearrange my room so I could go sleep on the other side of the bed, which was in better condition. And it's also, I usually sleep on, like, if I'm laying in bed, like, looking forward, I'm on the far left side. So that's, like, my left side's my hurt side. So I can't use my left arm for anything, and the way my bed and mattress is, like, I kind of need, like, to push myself up to get out of the bed. So switched to the other side, rearranged my whole room. So now I can lay down pretty much normally. I have pillows to be able to prop my arm up, like, horizontally, and I can, like, use my right arm to, like, help myself get up and out of bed. And last night I slept amazing.
Great.
So I think that's solved. But, yeah, the sleep and the neck have been the worst. But now, surgery's scheduled for Friday. They're going to put a plate and some screws in. Luckily, it's supposed to be an outpatient situation, so I'll be in and out in one day. Don't have to spend the night or anything. Hopefully, that's how it all goes. But
yeah, I was joking. They'll do a little cut. There'll be some NASCAR pit stop noises. Yeah. So you back up, send you on your way.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm kind of I'm super looking forward to the surgery. One, just to get the piece of bone that's floating around, like, back in place. Because I'm not healing right now. I'm not healing properly. The healing process hasn't even started. I'm just suffering through a broken arm with pain and having to take pills that I don't like opiates. Like, as much as people I know might think I would like them, I don't. I do not enjoy them at all. They work for the pain, but everything else about them I do not enjoy.
Yeah, are you eating okay at all?
I'm eating a lot less. Oh, and another thing too, I went like almost 100 hours without pooping.
Without pooping?
Because apparently opiates make you constipated.
I've heard that.
And by like day 3 of not going, I was like, okay, something needs to happen. And when I originally went to the pharmacist told me, or to pick up my pills, the pharmacist told me they can cause constipation, and it might not hurt to just go pick up some over-the-counter stool softener to help you out. And I was like, yeah, I'm a good pooper. I'm going to poop it out, whatever. Well, I didn't. So after I went Monday to my doctor's appointment, they gave me a new prescription because my last prescription had ran out that they gave me at the hospital, which was fine. And when I went to the pharmacy that time, I was like, okay, I'm going to get some stool softener now, too. So I got some, and then I took some, but like it didn't even kick in until Tuesday. So, and it always, like, I've been, like, constipated before and stuff, and it's never, like, you just get rid of everything at once and you just feel that massive relief. It just kind of, it's like, it starts slowly, and, like, little bit by little bit, you get it all out. Whatever. Sorry for everyone talking about poop,
but if you ever hurt yourself and you're on opioids, you need to know.
Yeah.
Get that stool softener.
Get that stool softener right away. But it was funny because I was, Jeremy and I were watching something Tom Segura related. It might have been Sledgehammer.
Cool.
We watched that the other day, but He was talking about when he hurt his body.
When his arm turned traitor on him.
Yeah, he said he didn't poop for 8 days.
Yeah.
Because of the opiates. And Jeremy was like, that's you. I was like, yeah, it is. That's not funny, though.
Hey, buddy. It's like the amount of hours it takes you to poop is directly proportional to the severity of your injury.
Yeah, so got that said. I'm really excited for the surgery. Get my bone back, please.
One more thing on the your arm's not healing. I'm sure part of the reason they want to do it as quick as they can is so that it doesn't like heal badly.
Right.
Because it's trying to heal right now, and it'll just like do whatever it does, like the old guy.
Mm-hmm.
For my foot, when I got my plate and my screws, I was supposed to stay off it, and there was like a better than 50% chance that it would set correctly, but I had to come in for x-rays over and over again. And at the time, just like between the Army and the adventure guides, like the parent-child camping thing that I was doing, and just my active lifestyle, it didn't happen. So after like weeks of coming in every 2 weeks for x-rays, they're like, this isn't working. Like, we're gonna have to cut you open and put a plate in. And part of it was, we're going to have to re-break your foot. I was like, okay, great.
Oh, man, that's brutal.
It was alright. I mean, it ended up being fine. Just like you will be.
Hope so. Okay. I'm also, about the surgery, I'm excited about anesthesia. I've never been anesthetized before.
I'm a big old fan of it. I get why Michael Jackson liked it so much.
I mean, my brother loves it, and I've heard multiple other people really enjoy it.
Best sleep you'll ever get.
I mean, that's what I hear, and I'm really excited for that. But again, that is like the most dangerous part of the surgery is the anesthesia. Mm-hmm. But whatever, I'm not worried about it. The only thing I'm really worried about now is just how much all this is going to end up fucking costing me, because our healthcare system is so bullshit. That a fucking sock is going to cost me thousands of dollars that I do not have. Mm-hmm. So, but luckily, doctor's office called me today to tell me how much the surgery was going to cost for them. Not how much I got to pay to the hospital, but for them. But when they said that, they're like, but because you're considered this is a trauma surgery, you don't have to pay until after the surgery.
Oh, there you go.
And I was like, I better not have to pay till after the surgery. I need to make sure y'all don't kill me first. I'm not going to pay you a ton of money and then you kill me. Like, fuck no.
Whatever bill you get, definitely challenge it with the, I don't know what they call them at the hospitals, but like...
Get the itemized...
It's cool, they call them a bursar. But when I had a kidney stone, before the ACA, like, I was totally off healthcare because I didn't have healthcare through the Y, and I only had healthcare when I was doing Army stuff, and it was a kidney stone I got because of like no water and too many energy drinks with an Army thing, but I didn't get the kidney stone until I was off Army time, and had drugs and a hospital stay, and not even like, I didn't stay overnight or anything. I was probably in the hospital for like 3 hours total. Because at that point it was like my third kidney stone, and I was like, yeah, give me the opium, and I'll pee it out, and we're done here. And it was thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah. And probably just Ash being like, just call them. And we talked to them, and they're like, okay, instead of like, maybe literally like instead of 6,000, it was like 600, and like, I can pay 600. Over, and then you have to pay it all up front. It was like, can you do it by like the end of 6-12 months, something like that. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm banking on is, and plus right now, like my current insurance, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, like even when it comes down to it, I'm not gonna have to pay even $3,000.
That's good.
But still, that's money I don't have. But
you think that this is gonna be $3,000, like all total?
It might be a little less.
It's so insane. It's so impossible to tell. Like what it's going to cost. Yeah. A kidney stone, 3 hours, no surgery, just like a person to administer opioid into your IV drip so that you can pee out a stone without it hurting. Thousands and thousands of dollars.
It's a fucking racket. It is so wrong.
It's not great.
We're the worst country in the world because, like, how can we be so advanced but not have just universal health care?
Do you know what I think about immediately? Is that we don't have kids. And like, how fucking stressful that has got to be to have a kid. You're like, we're gonna have a kid. Oh, good feelings. And then immediately like, oh, that's like growing a person. All the hospital, or not hospital, but like medical check-ins that go with that over the 9 months, and then like, historically, very, very dangerous thing to do. Like, get that kid out of you.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, hopefully that goes well. And there's the follow-up with that. And then you've got this little maniac that even at the point where there's like years and years and years where they don't know they can die. There's years and years and years.
They're just constantly trying to kill themselves.
Jumping off of things. I jumped through a glass table. Justin and I threw things at each other like very close to our eyes. I've got a slash right here from Josh. Justin has butterfly stitches right here from something I threw at him. Just for years and years, where it's like, and then even when you get past the point of, oh, I get it, like mortality is a thing, there's still years where you're a fucking idiot. Yeah. Like a decade of idiocy. And yeah.
I don't think I really like came to terms with not being a real idiot until probably about 25.
I was 28 for me, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so all that's just bullshit, but I don't want to think about it right now. As long as I can get the surgery and get to the other side and don't have to pay a ton up front.
Yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure I don't have to. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know I don't have to pay the doctors. And I'm pretty sure hospitals, I can work with them, whatever. Yeah. But I just want to get to the surgery. And the thing is, honestly, like, if I was ever going to break, like, a major appendage, I did the right one. My left arm.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm right-handed. If it was one of my legs, I'd be totally screwed. If it was my right arm, it would really, 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 really suck. And also, the recovery time does not sound near as bad as I was originally thinking. The surgeon said that after the surgery, I'll be in a sling for 2 more weeks. Mm-hmm. And then after 2 weeks, I'll be able to come out of the sling and start moving my arm a little bit. And then progressively work up toward, by the end of a full 6 weeks after the surgery, I should be pretty much back to normal. Mm-hmm. Which, that's a lot quicker than I would have guessed and hoped for. So, that's where we're at right now. Mm-hmm. In terms of my arm breakage.
But somehow, some way, through sheer grit and determination, you're some percentage of the way to Antarctica by now.
Bro, I've been killing this flight around the world. So we talked about it last week, and we're going to talk about it until I'm done. But here's the funny thing, because like we talked about it last Thursday, yeah. I hadn't started it yet. Yeah. My plan was to start it on Friday. I broke my arm early Friday morning, like late Thursday night, basically. And I didn't originally text my brother until like 7 a.m. because I didn't want to be too early, because that's weird. Mm-hmm. And he usually is up early, like 6-7 o'clock. So I texted him.
That surprises me.
Yeah, it kind of does me too. But
that was me doing Kevin Hart. Damn. It's a little disrespectful, but also very surprising.
But texted about 7. By about 8, I still hadn't heard back from him. And I knew as soon as he saw it, he'd get back to me. So there was no reason to, like, keep going. Like, he was just asleep. There's nothing I could do. Mm-hmm. So I was like, fuck it. All pain and everything, whatever. I'm starting this flight right now. So I did. And I did my first couple flights before he was able to even get over here.
This is before he went to the hospital even?
Yeah. I think I went from Austin to Tampico, Mexico. Mm-hmm. And then I hopped over to Merida, Mexico, which is on the Yucatan Peninsula. And I think by then, well, no, I think I just made it to Tampico, Mexico whenever he got here, because that was a couple hour long flight. But, I mean, even after I got home, did another flight, and then I've just been on it. At this point, I've done 21 different flights, and I've made it from Austin all the way down through Central America, down the west side of South America, and I'm now at the southernmost airport in South America in
weird location for an airport.
Yeah. I keep forgetting how to pronounce this place. And I keep deleting it, the thing, thinking I won't need to remember how to pronounce it. So I knew I was going to... Ushuaia is what it's called. The place it's called.
Nice.
At the bottom of Argentina. And I guess there's one airport that's like 25 miles away that's like maybe 2 miles further south, but it's not. It's like a grass strip. And
yeah.
So...
And then the big jump.
And then the big jump. Although I will say, whenever I got to my flight, I got to Lima. And this whole time I've been flying, I mean, no one's going to care what, but I've been flying a Cessna 208 Grand Caravan. And the thing is, like, it was just being real slow. And I was okay with slowness, but it also really couldn't handle altitude, like anything above 10,000 feet. And, like, started to really struggle. Like, I was going, like, the pace of, like, a car. Mm-hmm. And it wanted to just die all the time.
Weird.
So,
because of the altitude?
Yeah.
Got it.
And it's just not designed to go that high.
Yeah.
So...
Is that... I'm sorry, but for, like, not a person who doesn't fly planes,
mm-hmm.
and maybe for novices, is that because the air is thinner and the engine needs air?
Yeah.
Or what? Is it, like, literally that?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay.
It's just the way that specific engine was built. It's not built to suck in enough air at higher altitudes, whatever.
I didn't know if it was, like, one of these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then it's also like it's not. I don't think it's a pressurized airplane, so that brings in a whole other set of issues going that high.
So you put a bunch of like ice bags in your crotch, and we're just kind of like simulating that too.
No.
Yeah, the 4D experience.
I mean, that whole time I was sweating balls because opiates make me sweat super hard. And this whole time I've been on pills, so like most of the time I have the ceiling fan on full blast. My shirt's like halfway off and. Just doing my thing, but when I was in Lima, I just knew from Lima I was going to Machu Picchu because I'm hitting all the wonders around the world as I go, and Machu Picchu's real high, and I was like, this plane, I'm done with this plane. This plane's not gonna work. So I went and I switched, and now I'm flying this other thing. It's called like a TDM 900 or something, and it's still a single engine propeller airplane, but it's a turbine engine. Pressurized cabin, can go about 100 knots faster and can go like 18,000 feet higher than the other airplane.
That's a lot of feet.
So, can go higher, can go a bit faster, but it's still a small airplane where I can land on small runways. I don't need like massive runways. And since then, I've been using this airplane. I'm going to use it the rest of the way.
I don't know why this didn't come to mind when we talked about this last week, but I mean, from now on, obviously, I'm going to be imagining like kind of you in here with the door locked with the ice in the crotch. Well, I guess not now because you got the pressurized cabin, but like only food that you would have like in the cockpit and like peeing in a bottle, doing all that.
Yeah, I mean I'm trying to keep it as real as possible, but at the same time these are long flights.
Yeah.
Or some of them are. I mean, really they're not. I've actually broken them up into like about 2-hour flights.
It wouldn't make sense to get you a scarf and goggles because it's like a pressurized cabin, right?
Correct.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, listener.
But I would not mind a scarf and goggles or a nice like captain's hat. That'd be cool.
What's a captain's hat? What does that look like?
You've never seen a pilot with their hat on?
Okay. Yeah, that's what the army dress.
Yeah, it's like an army dress hat.
Okay. Because they used to do the opposite. They used to be like, it's a captain's hat.
or like the hat Blue wears in Tailspin.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Gotcha.
But yeah, so I switched to the new airplane. That new airplane's awesome, and I've now made it all the way down to the very bottom. So I got there about 3:30 this afternoon, which usually I fly as soon as I wake up or whenever I can, or whenever I can get going, I go, or as much free time as I have, I'll play. But I got there at about 3:30 today, and I had time to keep flying somewhere, because usually I'll just, if I don't have much time, I'll just do a real short flight just to make some progress. But I was like, all right, this next jump to Antarctica, I'm not going to have time before you got here, so I just put it away for now. But as soon as I can tomorrow, I'm going to jump in. I got about a 2.5-hour flight to Antarctica, and then I'm going to go from Antarctica up to the Falklands.
Nice.
And then I'm going to go up the east side of South America until I get to about Natal, Brazil. and then I'll make the jump over to Africa. So that's where we're at right now. We're about to go to Antarctica tomorrow, which I'm excited about. But it's funny because this whole time, like, I'm like really invested in this right now, just me personally, and it's also something good to just take my mind off of everything else going on in my life.
Yeah.
But I just keep thinking, like, I started like taking pictures, like screenshots of like places that I was going by, like Chichen Itza.
I was gonna say, you gotta show me that after this.
But the thing is, I stopped
Uh-huh.
because I was like, at first I was like, I need proof to show people I'm doing this, and I'm like, why would anyone care if I had proof that I played a video game? Like, it's not a real thing. Like, so, and that's also, it took me a long time to switch airplanes. So I was like, I started with this one airplane. I want to make it all the way with it. It's like, well, who am I trying? What am I trying to prove to anybody? Like, I'm playing a fucking game. So I stopped, but you can see that I'm actually doing it because when I sign into the game, I have a pilot's logbook and it automatically logs all my flights. So like I could go and be like, look, I did every single flight that I said I did, and you can see it in the game, and you can't fake that. So I have that proof. But
it's like Steam with my Total War games. Like, no shit, I played 2,400 hours of Rome 2. And here's like all the little accomplishments that you get along the way. Like, no, really, I took over the whole world. No, really, I didn't.
Exactly.
And only 1.8% of people do that.
Yeah, so I just figured I'm really just doing this for me. It's a lot of fun, and
do you only fly during the day? Like, you don't fly at night?
I've had a couple flights now where like I would start in like the late evening, and then my landing would be at nighttime, like in the total darkness or whatever. But for the most part, I'm sleeping when it's nighttime because it's also like real time.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Real world time.
That's cool.
But it's gonna be tricky now going to Antarctica because this time of year Antarctica is pretty much all nighttime all the time.
Okay.
So that's gonna be real tricky flying in there and setting her down and not crashing. Because being able to see just like there's no colors down there either. It's just white. Everything's just white. So,
isn't there like a period of time at that Antarctic station where they're like, we're locked in, nobody's coming for us?
Yeah, probably. But the thing is too, I'm not even going to a station.
Right.
Like, I'm just gonna go land on some ice and then take off from there and come back.
Wait, is it not an airfield?
Not where I'm going, because like
You're just like putting it down on
Antarctica.
Okay.
Well, because I mean, with the way I have my route set up, it would take too long. Because like, I mean, I'm showing Nathan a map right now, but imagine, if you will, listener, we're looking at the tip of Argentina, where I am right now. Then when you go about 750 nautical miles southeast, you hit like this large peninsula thing that comes off of Antarctica. But the nearest actual runway, and it's not even a runway, it's just ice that they like declared it's going to be the runway, is actually like 1,700 miles from where I'm at, and it's like over here in Antarctica, like much farther east. So that flight's just too long, and my plane can't make it that far. So I'm just gonna come in, land on this little peninsula right here. I found there's like
it's like an upside down Argentina.
Kinda, yeah. But there's like, right around here, there's like a good 3-mile stretch of what I deem to be flatness. And I visited there before I started this whole thing to make sure I could it would actually let me land on.
So it wouldn't just be like, you crashed.
Yeah. So I know I can. So gonna do that and continue on.
Sweet.
Jeez, I talked about myself for like 34 minutes. This is wild. I'm sorry.
It's a big deal.
You know,
And actually, I just opened up my notes document and am discovering that a good chunk of notes that I've done, or that I did yesterday specifically, apparently didn't make it to the cloud. Which, my big project for today, listener, was fixing the internet at our home. I work from home, so it's kind of a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
If this had happened yesterday, I would have... Kelley knows. Ashley knows. Listener, some of you may know that once upon a time, I was responsible for like the success or failure of IT systems in the Army at various levels and various degrees of severe importance and all the stuff that comes with that. So I'm better now than I've ever been at whenever IT, the phone, the internet, email, whatever, it's not working. I'm better now than I've ever been about to take a deep breath. let the gremlins kind of work their way through the system, and it'll come back, and most of the time, there's nothing you and Nathan can do about it. And our internet's been kind of weird the last 2 weeks.
It's been melting.
Where I've had to unplug the modem and plug it back in. And prior to that, I'd maybe done that twice a year since we moved here in 2020. Internet's been super stable, which has been great because on Facebook, our internet and our electricity are super stable compared to the things you see on Nextdoor, where it's like, our internet's down, is everybody's internet down? We lost power, everybody lose power? Like, what is happening out there? But the last 2 weeks, damn near every day, like definitely the last week, every day, I've had to like unplug the router, plug it back in. And it was just getting unsustainable, and this week is a huge week for me. I've got 3 deals I'm trying to close before October 1st. Had big demonstration yesterday, big demonstration on Friday, probably the biggest demonstrations on Friday, and just thankfully did not have any like presentations or any face-to-face. My one meeting got moved next week that was supposed to be today, because at like 9:30, just everything just shit the bed, unplugged the router, plugged it back in. It was up for like 5 minutes at a time, and was having to unplug it, plug it back in. So my years of patience, that patience muscle that I've been working out, just out the window. And had already talked to help desk or whatever on Sunday, and they had reset things on their side. And I'm doing the speed test. We pay for a gig of internet, and I'm getting like 5 megabits, which is fine if you have like one laptop. Mm-hmm. You know, you can stream stuff, but I'm trying to have like laptop upstairs, actually laptop downstairs, TV and stuff, which during the day we're not hardly using any of that. But I do have to have like streaming video and things while I'm like talking to people, and it cannot go down, like, which it was doing constantly. And the amount of down that I was getting kept getting so dramatically bad that the network was like, we don't have internet. And I can't be just like directly plugged into the modem, which is in our bedroom, and doing like face-to-face video calls, blah, blah, blah. Unsustainable situation. Reach out to the help desk again today, and they're like, our tests are showing us that it's your modem. And I was like, all right, you say it's the modem. You don't believe you. But what's going to happen is I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy a modem now. I'm going to plug it into this thing, and then it's going to work. And they're like, yeah, that should work. And I'm like, no. It will work because you are telling me it's the modem, so I will buy a new modem and we'll be good to go, right? Yeah. So that was like 9 in the morning it started. That was like 2 o'clock when that happened. Go out, get the modem. And this is all at the same time that, my work stuff is stressing me out. But then also, Ashley's birthday is tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So, like, I'm leaving here, getting some stuff. Yeah. I can say it on here, actually, because she's not going to listen to this ever. But then also, I'm not worried about other people spoiling it for her before I show her this stuff if we don't release this.
Yeah, I'm not putting this out until Friday, because that's just a normal day. So you can say anything you want right now, spoilery to Ashley, and she'll never know.
So I'm going to...
Or at least not before.
She's got these Ouija board shoes.
Yeah.
That she regrets that she's worn them so much. Mm-hmm. Because she likes those shoes. And in the past, when she's gone to see if she can buy another pair, they've always been sold out. I've been refreshing that for a long, long time. And finally, they were available, so she's got those. I got a pair of shorts to go with those. But the big ticket item, December 10th, Cowboys, Philadelphia at Cowboys. and I'm gonna make that cake that I made her last year, where it was like football.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I did that for the Super Bowl, but I'm gonna make her kind of that similar cake, but with the Cowboys and Eagles logos on them, and I need, or I needed, because I actually got this when I went out and got the modem dye for the icing to do that. And then the other thing is I had a flat tire. So at one point I was on the phone with one of my partners that is a cool guy. He's down in San Antonio. He's a cool guy. And he was asking me about XYZ, and he's like, what's all that noise? And I had the air compressor filling up the tire after I'd done the fix a flat on it. And I was like, dude, it's a bit of a day for me. I'm filling up this tire, so I can go pick up this modem. It's Ash's birthday tomorrow, and my mother-in-law's coming in town tomorrow. And he was like, oh shit, that's awful. I was like, no, I love my mother-in-law. It's just fun to throw that in too. Yeah. So just a comedy of errors today. But I guess it's all fine. Because I...
So did the modem work?
Yeah, it did eventually. For a while, for a minute there. Again, because my patience was already like out the window. I was waiting for it to come on so I could do a speed test. Because what I did not want to see, what I would have gone through the roof, was if the speed tests were the exact same as when the modem was like pittering out. Because then that would tell me it was the network, it wasn't the modem. And that is kind of what happened at the beginning. Except it was different this time. It was like high down speed, very low up speed, and it kept like blinking. It kept going out and back in and out and back in. But then when it came in the last time, it did exactly what it should have from a down and up perspective. And the person was just like, it's great working with you, thanks, bye. And I was like, this better fucking stay up. You don't leave until I tell you to leave. And it did. So I was like, alright, we're good. Something that was a net consequence of all that, I changed our SSID, I changed our broadcast network from Joe Rogan for president to a reference for me and Ash. And it had been Joe Rogan for president since like 2011.
It's probably better that that's changed now.
Yeah.
A lot has changed since 2011.
I still love Joe as much as I love like family that also is just wrong about certain things.
I mean, you don't want him to be president at this point.
Doesn't mean I don't love him, but yeah, in the same way that Ash also dissociated herself from some of our favorite comedians for the sake of people she loves and cares about who don't need to know that she laughs at those comedians. Similarly, Joe is important to me, but with the RFK stuff, and then just the really dumb, shallow takes on certain things that then hit like tens of millions of people. I'm like, damn it, Joe. So, yeah. I would still love to hug him someday. But, yeah, don't need the neighbors that I'm friends with and that I also love. Be like, why are these guys so into Joe Rogan?
I totally get you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad all that worked out. I'm sorry you had such a rough day, last few days, weeks, whatever.
Yeah, my arm's not broke. My shit's long healed. I mean, speaking of, I've been out and about in the mornings more than I have been, and it's been great. Like Tuesday mornings, Wednesday mornings, I always go for like a 3 or 5 mile, not a hike, not a run. It's mostly like walking with some jogging. I'm just trying to keep my heart like above 100 beats per minute. But I'm out there for like an hour, hour and a half, and that like sun rising period of the day gives me the good vibes.
Yeah.
And every rabbit I see, I give him the finger gun.
That's silly.
Yeah.
You're a silly person.
You want to skip KQC? You got one you're particularly excited for?
I don't have one
Alright.
at all. I've been so focused on flying, and then like again, like my brain just has not been where it needs to be. Like these pills, man, I don't like it. I had to do a little bit of driving today, which I mean, I have one arm working, but that's fine. I've driven with less.
Do you go out like that, or do you like take your arm out and put it in the sling?
Oh, I like this.
Nice.
It hurts way too bad to try to get my arm through the through an arm hole. I mean, if I had a second person like there helping me, I could probably do it and it wouldn't really hurt. But doing it myself, absolutely not.
Where'd you go?
I had to run some errands.
Okay.
And I remember thinking like, okay, let's take your pain pill and then wait like a couple hours before we go out and do this stuff, so it has time to like get past the peak and I'm more or less with it. So I did, and then I'm out driving around and I'm like, yeah, I am not sober. Like, it wasn't bad. Like, I wasn't in any danger. I wasn't putting anyone else in danger. Like, I know my limits, but I just knew that I wasn't 100% with it. So I was like, yeah, this is... I can understand why they warn people not to, like, drive or operate heavy machinery on this stuff. But, I mean, again, I was totally fine, totally safe. Got everything done, but... yeah, I don't like it. I mean, so many people are addicted to opiates. So many people I know personally are addicted to opiates. And I just don't understand. I mean, I'm glad I don't, because I have a fairly addictive personality already. So if I like the stuff, like, it would be a real problem. But I don't, so...
It's like a good, you know it when you see it definition of addiction. Of like, I don't get it. I don't understand.
Yeah.
That's what addiction is, because you could argue, like, I'm addicted to my Total War games. Like, who wants to sink, let's be generous and say, like, 10 hours a week into this game to nowhere?
Yeah.
I can't stop.
I mean, I'm right with you. I'm right there with you right now with this flying, at least until I finish this around the world flight, but that's going to take a couple hundred hours. Maybe less now since I have a little bit faster of an airplane. Maybe I can get away with like 150 hours. But yeah, I mean... addiction is just what it is to the beholder, in the eye of the beholder. And I'm just really glad I don't like opiates, but I really appreciate that they do take the pain away.
It is interesting seeing the healthcare system over time, because I haven't really interacted with it in a while. And definitely every time that I have, and being like, I hurt, they're like, we got you. Like, here's some hyper drugs via IV. Whereas now they're like, gonna give you as little as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I was so mad at the urgent care that they wouldn't give me anything. They're like, well, because you're going to the hospital, we don't want to give you anything right now that'll interfere with whatever they're about to give you. Then the hospital almost didn't give me anything, but then they did. They gave me a Percocet and a Valium, and I was definitely not in much pain once those kicked in.
Word.
Yeah, that's all I got for this week, unless you got anything else.
Next time we'll talk about our Mission Impossible watches, because I still think the first two movies better than the last two movies that we've watched.
Really? I thought the last one we
yeah.
watched was the best one we've seen so far.
I'm still chasing that style of the first one. Like, the first one was very no frills. It was like, this is the story and the action is incidental. Whereas, like, since then, it's been like, oh, that's cool action.
The first one had some cheesy action in it. Like, the whole helicopter and train scene, like, pretty much everything about that was just like, okay, you've already jumped the shark. Like, that is not physically possible. I mean, did you actually rewatch the first one recently?
Not recently.
Yeah, so.
But also not more than, like, 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, the biggest game. But we'll get into that, and then Ash and I have been watching some stuff too.
Yeah, and I'll have more updates on my flight around the world, and hopefully my arm will be bionic by then.
Oh yeah, you can come back stronger than ever.
Hopefully. This
was all pre-deployment before I really got into shape.
Alrighty, well if that's all you got, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it here. It's not like it was a short episode.
Quarterback, Netflix.
Huh?
Quarterback's on Netflix. The Omaha production.
Need to watch it.
It's out today.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Alright, well, everybody out there, watch that. I'll try to do the same, and we'll catch you next week.
Stay out of hospitals.
Bye.
Bye.